This 2017 RX350 came in from one of my followers on Instagram. So he wants to program these 4 ultrasonic sensors. They've tried to program it several times, but it was not going through. So I said, let me take a look, because something must be wrong for the programming not to be going through. So if you look at the right top side of the instrument cluster, you will see a light blinking. That is the ICS light. So I want to turn it off first, because once I turn the system off and that light stays solid on, I know that at least there's still hope for the programming of this thing to go through. And the power steering light and the check engine light you see is because the ignition is turned on and the engine is not running, because once the engine is running, the light will go off. So this light that is blinking, this ICS light, is what I'm particular about. So I turn the system off, and if you can look, the light stays solid on, which means most of the functions are working fine. So I turn it on back and the light starts blinking. It is blinking because it detects an issue when the system was turned on. So after several diagnostics, I discovered that the module is going very, very hot. The module for the system is going very, very hot. That's why I unplugged it first. So now I would like to plug it back and check voltage at the sensor itself. So I'm checking voltage at the sensor, and look at what I find. I'm finding over 12 volts at the sensor. And if you remember, the other 2017 RX350 I did was controlled by 5 volts, but this one is over 12 volts. So yeah, I was thinking there was an issue, but I later found out that this system is actually controlled by 12 volts. But before that, while still connected to the 12 volt at the sensor, I came to disconnect the module itself, because I want to be sure if it is this module that is sending out the 12 volts, or I'm actually having a short circuit to power. So after disconnected it, I checked the voltage and it was gone. This is 0 volts. That means there is no short circuit on the wiring, but the module itself is the one outputting 12 volts. So this is the module, but also this module is going very, very hot. So I decided to open up the module at least to check, even though I'm going to replace it, but I need to check. So I noticed this brownish part, this kind of burnt part on the module. So this alone get me thinking that okay, this might be the reason why the module is going very, very hot. So I have to just check voltage at the module itself, at the wiring to the module, so to be sure that there's nothing that could damage this module. Because one thing about module is, once you see any sign of burnt, you don't just go ahead and replace a module. You need to check the wiring in case there's an issue, so that you won't plug in a new module and the same thing will also happen, because most of these modules are not cheap at all in the market. So I'm trying to set up my wiring for the test at the connector to the module, just to check voltage. So if I see voltage at a wire I'm not supposed to see voltage, so I know there's an issue. So I just need to check for good power and ground and ignition. So, and they need to be on the right wiring. So after the whole check, I noticed the wirings are fine, are good. So what I just did is I replaced this module and I replaced one of the ultrasonic sensor on the bumper, and the programming went fine. So the reason why it was failing before was because this module was bad and one of the ultrasonic sensors were bad. So after replacing those 2 components, the programming went fine and the lights that was blinking on the dashboard stopped and everything worked fine.